What they don't want you to know. The secret tricks that influence minds. They don't want you to know how influence works. Not because it's magic, but because once you know, you stop being an easy target. Tonight, we'll pull back the velvet curtain. Welcome to Toxic Psychology. Stay with me. By the end, you'll spot secret levers in conversations, ads, and relationships. And you'll have the language to shut them down. This is not a manual for control. This is a survival guide. We'll show you how influence feels, how it's presented, how it hooks the brain, and exactly what to say and do to stop it. Think of this as mental body armor. Part 1. The psychology of why influence works. First, why does influence work? Because your brain is lazy. It prefers shortcuts that save energy. Those shortcuts, biases and heuristics, are what manipulators exploit. Understanding the shortcuts is the first step toward breaking them. Biases are neutral tools. They made humans efficient. But efficiency can be weaponized, turned into traps that look like shortcuts but lead to bad choices. Tonight, we'll examine 5 powerful influence families, how they operate, how they feel, where you'll see them, and how to resist with exact phrasing, rituals, and habits. Part 2. Trick Family A. Mirroring and Rapport. Trick A lives in friendliness. It looks like warmth, mimicry, and connection. It can be as simple as someone repeating your joke or matching your posture. That tiny reflection makes trust grow, fast. How it feels: sudden comfort, an odd we-click feeling, a lowered skepticism. You think, this person gets me, and that feeling short-circuits your usual checks. Where you'll see it? Salespeople, online influencers, new friends, dating contexts, support groups. Anywhere rapport speeds trust, mirroring is often behind it. How to diffuse it? A one-line pause. Say calmly, "I like you, but I want to think this through." That short statement breaks the mirror without causing offense. Practice line. "I enjoy talking. I'll finish this later after I check a few facts." Use it when someone feels too in sync, too fast. Part 3. Trick Family B. Scarcity and Manufactured Urgency. Trick B is the panic engine. It manufactures the feeling that you will lose something important if you hesitate. Timers, only one left badges, or emotional ultimatums do the same job. They compress your thinking. How it feels: a sudden spike in heartbeat, tunnel vision toward one option, a voice in your head whispering, "Act now." That physiological rush shuts down reason. Where it appears: flash sales, limited memberships, emotional ultimatums in relationships. "If you don't, you'll lose me." Marketers and manipulators love this one. Defense ritual. The 24-hour rule. Any high-pressure ask gets a mandatory 24-hour wait. If it's real and urgent, it will survive the delay. If it's a trick, it will often evaporate. One-line script. "I don't do impulse decisions. I'll revisit this tomorrow." Say it calmly. Always, the person pushing urgency will either back off or reveal more evidence. Part 4. Trick Family C. Authority and Symbolic Power. Trick C uses symbols, titles, uniforms, charts, fancy websites. Your brain maps those symbols to safety and expertise, so you trust before verifying. How it feels: respect mixed with a tiny drop of doubt that your mind quickly dismisses. You think, they must know what they're doing. That dismissal is purposeful. Where it shows up: experts on TV, authority language in ads, fake credentials in scams. The easiest check is, does the evidence exist outside their words? Defensive step 1. Verify externally. Ask for a public source, license number, or peer confirmation. If they cannot produce independent proof quickly, treat claims as unproven. Script, can you point me to the independent source for that? I want to check it myself. It's polite, firm, and reveals whether authority is genuine. Part 5. Trick Family D. Commitment and Consistency. Trick D is the slow trap. Start small, then expand. A tiny yes builds momentum. Our brains prefer consistency. Once you say small yeses, saying no later feels like betrayal to yourself. How it feels: incremental, almost polite. You don't notice the pattern until you're deep in. That's the danger: escalation by consent. Where it's common: free trials that auto-renew, favors that become obligations, social requests that balloon. The trick is inertia. Once in motion, people don't stop. Defense: the micro yes log. Every time you say yes to something that could expand later, write it down with an expiration date. Revisit the list weekly. Scripting tool: I'll do this once, and we'll see if we repeat it later. But don't assume ongoing consent. It's a short sentence that prevents assumptions. Part 6. Trick Family E. Emotional Framing and Narrative Hijack. Trick E is the emotional frame. Facts are thin, stories are thick. The same data, wrapped in different language, produces wildly different decisions. Emotions short-circuit logic. How it feels: righteous, urgent, sometimes noble. When you feel morally certain, you stop verifying. That moral certainty is what manipulators bank on. Where it hides: political messaging, charity appeals, viral videos. They ask you to feel first, think later. Defense: emotional labeling. Out loud, say the emotion. I feel moved, angry, fearful. Naming the feeling reduces its intensity and gives room for thinking. Script to reframe. Those are powerful points. What are the objective facts behind them? Simple, direct, and it forces a shift from story back to data. Part 7. Deep Case Studies. Use these segments to lengthen runtime with rich storytelling, real examples, and dramatized reenactments. Each case is structured so you can expand with pauses, B-roll, and interviews. Case Study A. The Viral Fundraiser. How celebrity, urgency, and social proof combine to create a donation frenzy, and how a few questions would have exposed weak governance. Case Study B. The Loyalty Trap. How a charming manager used small favors and public praise to make employees overcommit to unpaid overtime. Case Study C. The Dating Manipulator. How mirroring, love bombing, and scarcity made someone accept unacceptable behavior. For each case, we'll analyze the clues, show the exact moments influence shifted from subtle to coercive, and give viewers the 3-step checklist to use next time. Part 8. Live Exercises and Viewer Interaction. Interactive exercise. I'll show 3 short scenarios. Pause the video and write down which tricks appeared. Then, post one example in the comments. This exercise rewires your detection muscle. Scenario 1. A friend suddenly mirrors your language and asks for a small favor. Scenario 2. An ad shows a countdown and says, "Only tonight." Scenario 3. A well-dressed caller claims to be from a bank. Which are red flags? Write them now. Part 9. The Defensive Toolkit. Scripts, Rituals, Habits. You'll read these slowly. Toolkit. Rule 1. The 24-hour rule for any high-pressure ask. Say it, use it, make it your habit. Toolkit Rule 2. The 3-source rule for social claims. Verify with 3 independent, reputable sources before acting. Toolkit Rule 3. The micro yes log. Track small agreements so you can see escalation before it traps you. Toolkit Phrase Pack. Keep these 5 lines in your phone. I'll think about it and get back to you. Can you send that in writing? I don't make decisions under pressure. Who else benefits from this? I need 24 hours. Practice the phrases out loud twice a day for a week. Conditioning breaks instinctive compliance and builds muscle memory. Part 10. Interviews and expert voices. If you can't get live experts now, read a quote from a peer-reviewed paper and analyze it on camera. Cite the source. That increases credibility and watch time. Sample reading. People default to authority when cognitive load is high. Pause after the quote. Explain it in plain language with one vivid example. Part 11. Myth-busting and nuance. Myth. All influence is evil. Not true. Influence is neutral. The moral line is consent and harm. We want tools to detect non-consensual influence and protect ourselves. Nuance. Some people use persuasion to help others. Clinicians, teachers, negotiators. The difference is transparency, benefit, and choice. Part 12. Long-form expansion sections. These follow the same pattern. Each subheading below can be expanded into 10 to 40 minutes with stories, reenactments, interviews, and guided exercises. I'll list them so you can record long stretches easily. Deep Expansion A. Long dive on mirroring. Collect 6 real stories, reenact them, pause to explain each cue, show slow-motion B-roll of micro-expressions, and close with a 5-minute role-play you can perform on camera. Deep Expansion B. Deep Expansion C. Long dive on authority. Analyze 3 famous authority failures and successes, interview or quote an expert, and role-play verification calls. Deep Expansion D. Long dive on commitment. A 5-step walkthrough of how small agreements escalate, plus practical templates for setting boundaries and unsubscribing politely. Long dive on emotion and framing. Recreate identical facts in 2 frames, show reaction differences, teach labeling and reframing exercises with on-screen timers. Final toolkit recap and closing. Recap. Mirroring, scarcity, authority, commitment, emotion. For each, 1-sentence summary and 1 practical action. Repeat. Last practice. I'll read 5 short scenarios. Pause after each and say aloud the trick name and the phrase you'd use to stop it. Training this way rewires instant responses. If this helped you, download the Red Flags Checklist, link in description. Screenshot the phrases and subscribe to Toxic Psychology. Protect yourself and share this video with one person you'd keep safe. I'm your name. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay free. See you in the next video.